Hello, my name is Dennis Lee, and today I'm going to be talking about my cultural artifact. An article from the WordPress site dated on November 16, 2010, it shows how each region has their own costume and dance, which is Ballet Folklorico, which represents the traditional regional dances that have resulted from Spanish and indigenous influence in Mexico. Alright, so the significance of the Ballet Folkloric is to show the different types of tradition of certain regions that Mexico uses, especially the woman culture. And the dress shows the tradition that has been passed down from my ancestors to my nieces. The purpose of this speech is to tell you about the world that I come from and how this woman culture runs in my family and how it will never end. And now I'm going to show you how this woman culture has been around my life and how popular it is around my community. So I was saying that I will talk about the culture behind the folkloric dress and ballet folklorico and when they are mostly used. Then I will explain the details and uses of the dress and how it is used around Mexico and some parts of the United States. Next, I will give 5 specific points that would define the culture from where I am. And then I will talk about the different ways that I've seen this culture run through my family and how I will transition from it in the future with my kids. But first, I'm going to talk about the tradition of how ballet folklorico started. So, the ballet folklorico revolves around music and dancing. This dance consists of men stopping their feet with nails at the bottom of their shoes, and the women make arm movements by swinging the brightly colored dress in a snake form that makes audio-visual effects. The start of the folkloric dance was found by Amelia Hernandez Navarro in the 1950s. She was a choreographer that worked in a dance company in which she preserved and performed these Mexican art forms with 10 other people. The costumes that they wear symbolize the heritage of the region. The color of the dresses symbolizes the region colors and the types of music that the regions listen to while dancing to their own type of ballet folklore. Some of these certain types of regions will be Veracruz, Jalisco, Tamaulipas, Nuevo León, and much more. There are some of These are some of the famous regions that have been performed throughout the world. We usually use these dresses on Cinco de Mayo, Mexican Independence Day. I chose this object because I've seen it throughout my entire life and in my community. I never knew what it actually meant and thought people wore these costumes just for fun. I chose the women culture because I think that there is more significance on the dress than the clothing on the men. Because the woman's dress, you can see more things out of it. And some of the values that represent the woman culture to me will be respect, pride, creativity, performance, and heritage. I learned respect by looking at people performing ballet folkloric and clapping after their performance after they were done. Performers show me to perform in whatever I like to do. For example, when I saw people dancing to ballet folkloric, I saw happiness in their faces that they enjoyed doing it. And that's what stood out to me to do the same thing with my life and whatever I want to achieve. Pride showed me to be proud of where I come from and enjoy life doing it. Creativity showed me the different ways that you can perform using the clothing and materials that you use. And lastly, heritage showed me that my parents kept the tradition going by passing it to my sisters, and how my brothers is keeping the tradition by introducing it to their daughters. And now I will talk about how I've seen this culture and how it affected me. So I started with this culture ever since I was a baby. I remember a picture of me being a baby, and I was carried by my mother, and she was standing next to my sister wearing a folkloric dress after one of her performances in elementary school. That was the day when I was introduced to this culture. As I was growing up and started to enter elementary, the students and the community would celebrate Cinco de Mayo by having a lot of booths that had games and performances by my friends during that time. And all this was after school, so we had a bunch of time to have fun and mess around. As I was getting older, um, especially during middle school, I didn't focus much on the dress, but more on the music because I don't know, like it showed like the significance of the dress and the music and how what regions celebrate with what kind of music. And when I entered high school, I noticed more of the types of music and performances especially during lunchtime, which made me proud of who I am and how this culture has passed down to several parts of the United States and did not stay mostly in Mexico. And then currently right now my sister is a teacher, and when it's Cinco de Mayo or when it's Mexican Independence Day, she would take her folkloric dress to her school and show her students a couple of dance moves that white women wear this dress. My brother has two daughters, and he is bringing the tradition to them because he is giving his daughters the the tradition that he saw as a child. Even though even when I become a father, I would like to share this culture to my kids so they can know why we celebrate and how my family enjoy watching like these events of women and men dancing to ballet folklorico. And ever since living in a poor community, I was born around with parades, performances on the streets, and Mexican parties. So I was pretty aware of the types of dances that I saw around me, and so I wouldn't have at least seen, I would have seen these types of performances at least once or twice a year. And then these values really hit me hard as an individual because it showed me a lot and it really opened my eyes. So one value that I learned from the ballet folkloric is respect again. I learned that people are not the same as me and they do not follow the same cultural beliefs as I do. So I have to respect other people's cultures and where they come from because we are not born the same or raised the same. Another thing that I like is showing my pride. I take pride in everything I do because my family didn't have money when I was growing up. And since now that everybody in my family has a job, we can afford most things that my family couldn't when I was 5 years old. Another thing I learned about myself was creativity. I am very creative with the way I approach certain ideas and even sometimes in the way I dress. And another value that I would have is performance. Every day I see mariachis performing at restaurants, parties, and other important occasions, and people who dance the folklore. So that means that the culture is around me, and I don't think it will never stop. And then, lastly, the last value I would have is heritage. I want my family to pass down the tradition that my ancestors did to me and my family. I would like to have my children's children to experience this woman culture that my family is passing down because I want them to realize where they come from and how important they are in this world. So in conclusion, I wanted to show you the world I come from and how this tradition would never end in my family. There are many different ways to see the types of ballet folklorico by certain regions from Mexico. There are 5 different types of values that I have learned throughout my life and how it impacted me. This culture started out when I was a baby, and I will probably carry it to my future children. These values have opened my eyes to see what I've learned and how I can teach the future generation from my family about the culture that I have learned throughout my life. So, wearing a piece of clothing or putting on a piece of jewelry can be worth 1,000 words to where it comes from and how it represents you. And this is my cultural artifact speech. Thank you.